So I have here at SecureTV Hugh Thompson. Hugh Thompson is the chairman of the RSA and the CTO of Blue Code. Welcome, Hugh.
Thanks
again,
for having me.
On the second version. We only had last week the RSA. You hosted also the startup companies, I understood. You've seen a lot. Can you talk to our audience about what are the major trends? So what are the trends you see now of the new security startups, and is there a kind of pattern in it? What is the trend?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So we've been hosting this startup competition as part of RSA Conference for 11 years now. I can't believe it's been 11 years. But what almost always happens in this space is there's a maturity curve of the adoption of technologies. And I'll give you an example. Things like application security, so software security, scanning it for vulnerabilities. Mm-hmm. At the beginning, which was maybe 6 years ago when it was first popular, most of the focus was on how do we find vulnerabilities, what are the issues, who's going to exploit it. And then by year 3, it moved into solutions. So year 1 was identifying problems, and year 3 was, now let's solve this thing. And we're seeing right at the beginning of the trend of Internet of Things. So still, most of the sessions, companies' presentations are on vulnerabilities in the Internet of Things. But I think if you fast forward 2 or 3 years from now, there's going to be a lot of companies that actually have architectural solutions on how to deal with IoT security. So you asked the biggest trends, IoT security, massive trend this year. Another big one, which really hits home here in Europe, I think more than anywhere else, is the adaptability to legislation around data sovereignty. That is a huge topic globally for multinational companies. They're trying to figure out how, if a new law was passed here in the Netherlands, for an example, that said, this type of data, I cannot allow it to leave the sovereign border of the company, but yet I want to adopt all these amazing cloud applications that replicate that data across data centers, across multiple companies. How are we going to prepare for that kind of legislation coming into play, and how do we build an infrastructure and architecture that will allow us to do that and adapt to that changing legislation? So IoT, number 1. Number 2 is legislative volatility, so preparing in advance for some of those changes. And interestingly, I think number 3 is really coming back to a core tenet, which is risk management. So understanding the discipline of security and translating it into the language of business risk management to the board of directors. And all very noble causes, so very good to see that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks, appreciate it.